Hello everybody, Dev here, the Rogue Deck Chronicles, and this week I want to showcase, honestly, my favorite version of Beedrill EX, which is actually with the Dunsparce as a partner, not Arboliva. Now, let's go over the cards, over the interactions, and kind of see why this deck is maybe less viewed, but I believe is a much better version of the deck. So first things first, let's talk about Beedrill EX. Beedrill EX is a new EX coming from the Chaos Rising set. It is a Stage 2 Grass EX Pokemon, 310 total HP, with a singular attack. For a single Grass, Rumbling Beast does 110 times the amount of Beedrill and Beedrill EX in play. Unfortunately at this time, there is no single prize Beedrill in the format, so this calculation will be purely on how many Beedrill EX we can get into the deck. So we are running a 4-4-4 line of Beedrill in this deck to try to get our damage output up to that 440. Now, one thing I really do want to kind of circle back onto this archetype is everyone's going to talk about, well, what happens when you get a Beedrill prize? What happens if you get some of your pieces prized? Yes, that is a potential problem. But the way I look at it in terms of how we also built this deck is you don't need all four. 2 to 3 does exactly what you need to do. 3 will hit 330, which will one-shot most things in the format. 2 will give you 220, which will allow you to one-shot most lower-level EXs, all the single prize Pokemon, so that's really the damage output you need. And in the Pokemon that you weren't going to one-shot with the 330, you're still two-shotting anyway. So either you're aiming for the 3, I think that's the more optimal number on your board, or you kind of just play into your matchups. Now, I am pairing these Beedrill with a 4-4 of the Dunsparce with Runaway Draw, and then I'm also throwing in 1 Dunsparce EX for the matchups like Raging Bolt, or deck opportunities like Terra Box, which they put a whole bunch of EX Pokemon into play. You can just punish them with another single prize attacker that is not Beedrill. Now, with everything else, I do run 1 Budew. Budew is a really good lead in this deck. Yes, it is only a 1-of, so if you don't have it, you just don't play it. But item locking your opponent early game is always really, really strong. And then I'm pairing this also with 2 Fan Rotoms with the Fan Call ability. The Fan Call ability will allow us to grab our Dunsparces here. I am going with the 60 HP Dunsparce because it has free retreat. I am very well aware, and this is a risk assessment that I am taking, that this Dunsparce is very much a free prize for all those Mega Greninja decks out there. For all those Dragapult matchups that if you leave this Dunsparce unevolved too long, your opponent can't get a free prize from you. So that is the reason why I'm picking the free retreat one here. I would not blame you if you went to the 70 HP one. It makes sense. I like the free retreat. It allows you to pivot in some matchups, in some situations, where it gives me that flexibility of not having a optimal pivot in the beginning of a turn. Now, let's go look at the rest of the deck to see kind of how we flow. In terms of supporters, it's a very straightforward list here of 4 Lillie, 4 Dawn, and 2 Boss's Orders. So the Lillie allow us to just shuffle draw and pairing that with the Runaway Draw, the Dunsparce. With those two things kind of working every turn over turn, you really don't need any more draw from the supporter section because you're getting it from your Pokemon base draw. The Dawn allows you to just pop off out of nowhere. It allows you to get your Weedle or your Dunsparce to get set up for your evolutions, your Dunsparce and Kakunas and your Beedrills. So it's a really good kind of a momentum card to kind of just steamroll and snowball into your attacks. And then obviously Boss is always great. If something's just hiding on the bench and you just want to KO, Boss it up. Now, in terms of Pokemon Search, we're running 4 Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Allows us to grab our Dunsparce and our Weedle. we are running 4 Poké Pad, which allows us to grab everything but the 4 Beedrills, which is perfectly fine because of the amount of draw and aggressiveness that we have in the deck. But we also run 4 Ultra Balls to search whatever we need. Now, the Ultra Balls are not needed just for search for Beedrill. The way you want to run this archetype in this version of Beedrill is that you want to have 2 to 3 Beedrills in play. You want to have at least 1, if not 2, Dunsparces, kind of just cycling through turn over turn over turn. So it's very much a aggressive draw aggro kind of deck the way we kind of built it. We have 1 Bug Catching Set for us to grab energy and grass Pokemon in the middle of the turn. We have 2 Night Stretcher for recovery, for energy, and for Pokemon. And then we are running 1 Sacred Ash to put pieces back into the deck. We are such an aggressive draw that this is actually something I think makes the most sense. Running 4 Force Vitality. Obviously, we want to pop off Beedrills out of nowhere, and this is the best way to do that. And if you're running a grass deck and not running Force Vitality, what are you doing? And then our A-Spec for the deck is Unfair Stamp. We are expecting KOs. We are expecting to get KO'd. We are going punch for punch with our opponent. So an Unfair Stamp can turn the momentum around in an instant. It is one of those cards that can just completely derail your opponent. It can completely give you back on your feet and really just give you the match and give you the ability to get a last-minute victory out of the jaws of defeat. And finally, for this deck, we are running 5 basic grass energy. We are a single energy attacker on all variations of our attacks. So we don't really need much energy in this deck. And we have the recovery of the Night Stretcher. So it's really not an issue to getting the energy into your hand and onto your attackers. With that being said, guys, this deck list will be in the description of the video like always. But if you want, take a screenshot of this and be able to build it yourself to see how you feel with this deck. Like I said, the most popular variation I've been seeing of Beedrill has been the Arboliva. I saw this Dudunsparce from a Japanese City League list, and I thought this was a more aggressive, to me, a more straightforward Beedrill. But also, I played a whole bunch of Arboliva decks in the last month or so I wanted to try something new. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. So, with that being said, guys, let's jump into the ladder. Let's see how we do, and see, is Beedrill really living up to the hype coming from the Chaos Rising set? I think it is. I had fun with the matches, but let's see what you think in the comment section. Alright, time for us to go first in this match, which normally we want to, but man, this hand, not the greatest. Let's just be honest. Like, look at it. It's just everything we don't want for an hand. But the Dawn, now that can change some things next turn. So, we'll end turn. Can't really do anything else. If we can get a Forest and a Weedle, maybe. Really, the Forest will be able to wrap up a lot of this next turn. So we'll see what our opponent does. Seeing a Froakie. So this is Mega Greninja, Mega Starmie. Makes sense. Very low to the ground, very strong attackers. Where you really just need 1 energy to attack a Mega Starmie, and then you're just putting pressure with Mega Greninja. With that being the case, if we can set up multiple Beedrills fairly quickly, we can just have a very big board where our opponent really can't deal with us, and we can one-shot them and just take 6 prizes and 2 KOs. So, we'll see. We'll see. But our opponent's having a pretty good one. Retreat for the balloon. Buddy-Buddy. Okay, yeah, so if they get an energy, then they're set. I'm curious what... Yeah, they're gonna get every... Yeah, they're good. You know. So we really do need to get that Forest off of the top deck here, or a Lillie or something, because we're not going to be able to use our items this upcoming turn. Which kind of does suck, to be 100% honest, but we'll see what we're able to get here. We got a Forest off the top deck, guys. Are we able to put pressure now? So we need Weedle. Kakuna. I guess we just grab one of everything here, right? And just... we have the 2 EXs ready to go. Take the KO, put the pressure on now. We see that our opponent has an energy on the Froakie for a Greninja play next turn. We got a Buddy-Buddy. So we can Buddy-Buddy... I hate to say, I mean... really, unless we can get a Beedrill straight up, I don't want to put a Buddy-Buddy down for a Weedle. Because it has the 50 HP, and we run the 60 HP Dunsparce because I want the free retreat pivot. I could increase to the 70 HP one, and that's probably a choice for this type of match. I just didn't think I would get running into it that often, but they're just hiding. If we can boss this Froakie, I would be happy. If we can pull off another godly top deck with a boss, that would be fun. We run 2 in this list. Not a horrible start here. We're on an odd prize trade anyway because of this, because we knocked out the Budew, so knocking out the Staryu isn't advancing our prize trade really. Alright, a double Buddy-Buddy. Part of me just wants to do this. Evolve to the Kakuna, so that's safe for a turn. But I think what I also want to do here is just put extra Dunsparces on there. And kind of just... yeah, we're living on top deck mode, but we kind of were the entire time based on our hand from the very beginning. So we'll see what this prize is. We have multiple Dunsparces, so they can't... there's a Weedle, so that's the beginning of the 4th line. I mean, our opponent can't just... he can't take all the Dunsparces down this turn. And if we get a good... again, if we get like a Dawn or something, we could have some fun with the next turn. But 350 means we have to have 4 Beedrills in play. Mortal Shuriken, I know... I basically put multiple out there to kind of give up a Dunsparce here, knowing that we had others. I mean, we can I mean, in theory, we can 2-shot this Mega Greninja and really just put ourselves in a better position. I mean, I would prefer to 1-shot it, just so we can just be ahead. There's a Lillie, so I'm gonna take the chance here. Let's put the Weedle down. Let's see if we can get some evolutions in play. We're getting pieces here. Let's Runaway Draw. Okay. Let's Poké Pad. I'm actually going to search and be smart here. We have 1 Beedrill in deck. So we're capping out at 330 just because the other one is prized. But then again, the Kakuna kind of protects itself there. Alright, honestly, let's just grab this Beedrill. I want to keep the evolutions. I don't want to kind of get rid of that this turn. We're in a Rumbling Bees. We're going to be a little shy, which does feel awful. But honestly, that was as best of a turn we could hope for. I mean, our opponent could Mortal Shuriken, switch to the Starmie, do damage, and take out these two, but that'd be a lot. I mean, I would have to assume that's what our opponent's going to do, right? That would be the most optimal solution. And then that'll put them down to 2 prizes. But we can always boss. But it looks like they're going all in on this Greninja play. And they just Ninja Spinner. They didn't even have the extra energy. Okay. Okay. So, we have an entire Weedle line in the discard there. So a Sacred Ash, even just a Night Stretcher will get us into where we want to get. We have Unfair Stamp here this turn to really just start putting more pressure this turn. So let's Night Stretcher. I mean, I'm okay with Night Stretchering just a single Beedrill back on. Now we're doing the 330. And I want to Unfair Stamp. I mean, I'm okay with this. Putting them down to a low hand size here. Kind of don't want to give them that, but I kind of do need the draw for next turn. No, I don't. I have the Lillie. I think we're good. I think right here. No. I'll take the chance here. I'll take the chance. We'll take the prizes. Because then that allows us to be able to run a draw to hopefully find the boss we just put in the back in the deck. If we don't pull it off the prizes here. There's that Beedrill. So, we have Ultra Ball. With runaway draw here. They're grabbing a Salvatore. Can they take out a Beedrill here? Because we can take one. We can take out a Mega Starmie straight up without even really trying. But yeah, that Unfair Stamp turned that momentum of that match right there. That was a very, very clutch Unfair Stamp play, giving us the victory there. But you know what? I'm not even going to be rude. I'm just going to knock out the Rumbling Bees. I'm not going to try to flex. That was a really good back and forth fight. I didn't want to flex on the opponent there, but we could have tried to dug a little bit if we really wanted to. But there's a match with Beedrill against Mega Greninja, Mega Starmie, a higher level deck. Shows the power of that Rumbling Bees ability. We're able to kind of 1- and 2-shot Megas and win that prize trade. So let's jump into another match on the ladder to see how we do. Alright, so we're going first. We're leading with a Dunsparce, which is not a bad lead here. We're going to click done. We have 2 Poké Pads. We have a Dawn. And basically get some form of fire deck. Okay. That's potentially problematic. I don't think it's really that problematic. So what we're going to do here is we are going to use a Fan Rotom, get that Rotom call. Just throw all these cards into our hand here. And I'm just going to end this turn. Because then we can use the Poké Pad to get a Dudunsparce. Get a runaway draw. We can Dawn for Weedle pieces if we want. We'll also get a Dawn to get a second Dudunsparce. And kind of just start going and setting up that way. Alright, they're just Lillie. I'm interested to see what deck really runs this Ho-Oh. Alright, so it's like a Firebox, Inferno Fandango kind of build. Okay. Will they give us... Will we see EXs that we can take advantage of? So if they're going to go single prize, and we don't have to put out any more than like 2 Beedrill at a time. Okay, no energy, just a pass and attach kind of piece. Okay, so Let's grab a Dunsparce. We have 2 Weedle prize. That's concerning. But we have everything else. Okay. I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too worried about that at all. Or 2 Kakuna prize. We have 4 Weedle. So let's run away draw. And get a Weedle. Oh, yeah. I'm actually going to put the Fan Rotom up. We're not at a spot right now where attacking and try to set up any part of the Beedrill line makes sense right now. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to kind of put these pieces down like that. So I still want to set pieces up. And then we're starting the Dunsparce cycle here, which is really good that we're starting it so soon. Alright, so next turn then we could do what we need to do. But we're going to Assault Landing. We're going to put pressure on this Ho-Oh right now, knowing that we can take the knockout with the Fan Rotom next turn. We can do 1 Kakuna. We have an Ultra Ball to get a second Kakuna if we really want to. And if we lose the Fan Rotom somehow, we have an Unfair Stamp to really just reset. So, a Litleo. So this looks like it's a Mega Pyroar deck. Interesting. Okay. You're gonna boss us. But you have no real attacker, so bossing and putting one of these in the active doesn't really help. Now, with the Pyro having 340, we do need to get all 4 of our Beedrills up and running, knowing that we have 2 Kakunas prized. We really have to start digging into that those prize cards now. But I'm not too concerned because Pyroar's biggest attack does less damage once you put damage counters on it. So even with just 2 Beedrill in play, we're in a good position. So we're going to take a prize, which helps us dig into those prizes this turn, which is fantastic to see. And we are honestly just going to start digging into our pieces here. And I am more than okay of seeing this Fan Rotom go away next turn. But we don't have to be slow about it. What's in the discard? Oh, those pieces. Okay. We're just, like I just kind of doing. We're just kind of just setting pieces up here. Will Lillie get 8 fresh cards? Don't think we need a Dawn. I'll get rid of 1 Forest just to be on the kind of the more aggressive side here. Just kind of, I'm wanting kind of be somewhat conservative but somewhat aggressive at the same time. Alright, I'm going to keep the energy in hand. I want to take the KO, because again, we're just kind of missing out on some Kakunas. So it's like, okay, how aggressive do we really go this turn? I think that is the perfect level. A runaway draw, perfect, so we already have one set up. So, we know they have a boss in hand. We know that they have the Pyroar in hand. So they're going to try to take out this Beedrill, which is fine. We can always Night Stretcher a Kakuna to another Weedle and just pop up. But again, that also doesn't really help us with the fact that we really want to try to do 240 this upcoming turn. That's really what we want to try to do. Yep, we saw that. So they're not even bossing. They're using the petrol. So they're going to have to take the Fan Rotom this turn. Okay. I'm not against that. Not at all. They're precious trawling now. Oricorio, so that's where their Energy Excel, their Victini, another Ho-Oh. So, if they have multiple energy in hand, they don't have it. They don't have the extra energy, so we really get just a free turn off this. To be quite honest with you. But in order to take advantage of this turn, we have to get another Beedrill in play. But with this Poké Pad, we will. So there's our 2 Kakunas in play right now. Perfectly fine for us. Because we may not get an opportunity this turn to do much damage, but I really want to put damage onto this Pyroar. I want to make that Fiery Big Bang do a lot less damage. So we are going to Lillie. I want to see a fresh set of cards here. I really am looking for Dunsparce to really try to keep this run rate draw cycle kind of going. If we can at least see 3 cards a turn, we're in a much better spot. So there we go. So we're going to do 220. It's not a knockout, but it really puts that Fiery Big Bang down to 70 damage times 2, 140. That's not an end of the world situation for us. Now, they would have to Wally to make this really a worthwhile attacker. And then with that being the case, really we can start putting pressure. Knowing that 2 of these 5 are Kakunas, we're just going to get higher and higher damage outputs the more we get into it. Because as long as we have 2 Beedrill, we're really just doing what we want to do. Crushing Hammer. Heads, okay. Crushing Hammer, one of our energies away. That's unfortunate, but not catastrophic. We have an energy in hand. We have the Night Stretcher. So they're really just trying to put pressure on us. But once we get those 3 prizes, they're really behind 8 ball. So let's see what they're going to do. They're Salvatoring for what? That's the question. They're trying to get a... At this point, this is making me think this is going to be a Mega Pyroar. Or not Mega Pyroar, Mega Emboar. 180, I forgot about the Victini bump. But that's fine. Because we're going to get 3 prizes, but we really need to start putting pressure on. And hopefully out of the 3 here, we kind of just get what we need. Energy in hand is fantastic. Being able to double runaway draw and then get the Buddy-Buddy in hand, which means we can just get the Dunsparce back. Or the Dunsparce back, not the Dudunsparce. So we're just going to set up our loop, really. We really don't need anything else this turn. I think I'm just going to put the pressure in. Like, the 170 is enough for the KO. We have a Rescue Stretcher. We have the pieces for like a really aggressive turn next turn. There's one of the Kakunas. So we could realistically just put a whole bunch of damage on next turn. Like we'll have at least 2 Beedrills, assuming that we don't see a knockout. So we can Kakuna, we can Ultra Ball for a Beedrill, we have a Dudunsparce, we have Dawn, like we have pieces. I'm just genuinely curious on what our opponent is going to try to do. And really it is, they're just trying to recover, thinking that we don't have, like, they're just hoping with this massive hand size we don't have a boss. So they're more or less just conceding the game here. So let's just get a second Beedrill up and running and boss for game. Well, really a third Beedrill, sorry. So we're just going to grab these two pieces. Get that Beedrill. Put that into play. Boss the Oricorio here. Yeah, we didn't need to get the third one, but we were searching for that for the entire game. Get the 330, get the 2 prizes, and just take advantage of the fact that this firebox just didn't pick up the engine and the steam it really needed. And I'm not going to say that the weakness mattered in this matchup. It doesn't, but the Pyroar always tries to one-shot you regardless of your weakness typing here. But that just showed how consistent, how we can get this loop into play, how aggressive this deck can be. Like, I love this version of Beedrill. I know a lot of people are doing the Arboliva version, but I'm all in on the Dunsparce version. I think the aggressiveness and the aggro-ness of this deck is by far its greatest strength. Alright, so we're going first, leading with Fan Rotom, which is a fantastic lead for us, because then we can start getting our Dunsparces set up. We have a Bug Catching Set to see if we can pull Weedle off the top deck. So, we see a Mega Mawile, so we're running into resistance here. And I don't know how much that really matters. Grab another Fan Rotom. Get the Dunsparce into play. Buddy-Buddy Poffin first. One Weedle is prized. Okay. We can play it with this. I'm not worried about Kakuna. I knew we had one in hand. So we are going to grab... We'll grab a Beedrill and put that into our hand. We'll keep the Budew back there. And I think we're good. This is not everything but an energy attachment for this turn. For going first, no supporter. Next turn, we can force Vitality into a Beedrill and really try to see how aggressive we can make this. Another thing we could do is just, if we can find that energy, is just start putting pressure onto this Mega Mawile. Prism Tower. Yeah, we're just not going to allow them to play Prism Tower, really. We're seeing them go empty hand turn 1. Meowth. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, they're probably going to Meowth for a Lillie if they are Ultra Balling with such a low hand size. So, a piece that I didn't mention in the intro is the rise of grass and fire decks in their current metagame. There's just so many different types of metal attacking variants right now. And the weakness isn't the issue, it's resistance that's the issue. And I think this is going to be a point where the 3 will be enough, but that's really where we're really pushing. And Free Retreat, right? Because that's what this one does. Yeah, Free Retreat doesn't decrease damage. So it's one of those situations where we really need to start putting pressure. We need to get 3 Beedrill up like next turn. So I'm not too concerned right now. I kind of like where our hand is at the moment. But we really need to start really getting this going like now. So we got one Beedrill in the play just naturally here. Runaway draw here. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to soften up this Mega Mawile with a Assault Landing this turn. Just to kind of take a little less damage. But, oh, that Lillie did exactly what we needed. Look at how this deck just runs, guys. Like, we are getting our cycles in perfectly. We have Buddy-Buddy, and I'm not even worried about using it right now. So we're going to Assault Landing for 70. Kind of just put some damage onto here. We still need 3 Beedrill in play, purely because of the grass resistance. But what we also can do, we can throw Big Daddy Dunsparce EX in with a attack right now if we wanted to. We could really just switch up our attackers next turn, which I think I'm going to try to do that. There's the Felipe. Okay. So that way we don't really have to rely too much on the Beedrills. 260 doesn't do enough. It knocks out this Fan Rotom. And really, I think our opponent just kind of fell into our situation, because there's 4 times 60, that's 240. So we're a little shy with this Mawile. So our best bet really is just throw this Beedrill up and see what we can get here. Okay, all these buddies. So, do we Dawn for a fresh hand and hope we get the pieces, or do the guarantee? So let's Buddy once. Kind of just fill the bench up there. This is basically our optimal bench right now. I'm gonna Night Stretcher for that energy. Again, just more of the guaranteedness is what I'm trying to think of here. And I think I want to Dawn. And again, just kind of thin that deck out. And our opponent concedes. They saw that we were able to get the Beedrill and get everything set up this turn. And I'm kind of curious, but I think because they kind of went all in on that one Mega Mawile with the huge bite attack there. The 310, so we would have been doing 50 less on 330. We would have survived. He would have survived because of resistance and huge bite. But that's fine. We got the win. We were able to kind of show what we can do in this deck here. Again, super aggressive, super buttery. I love this version of it. I'm not much of an aggro guy, but this is a deck that I love playing because it's just so easy to kind of just rip and repeat and just keep on putting that pressure in turn over turn, game over game. I would take this to a League Cup, no questions, and be able to have fun with it. I would take this to League Night and kind of just showcase how aggressive Beedrill can be without the Arboliva. So, but with that being said, guys, let me know in the comments, am I wrong? Is this the best version of Beedrill out there? Or is the Arboliva or another variant that you've seen out there better than this? With that being said, guys, thank you so much for making it this far into the video. If you have not done so, please like the video. It helps us understand which type of archetypes you love to see. And throw the ideas in the comment section. As I said, the comment section is where we read and kind of talk to our audience. We talk to everybody to see how they love our content and what we can do in the future. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to go bounce. I'm going to go test some more decks. And I will see you guys later. And as always, have fun playing those sneaky decks.